Featherweight bout Josh Emmett coming in at plus 170 against Bryce Mitchell, sitting at minus 205. Bryce Mitchell stepping in on short notice to take on Josh Emmett. Over under 2.5 rounds, minus 155 for the over, plus 125 for the under. Bryce Mitchell 4-1 in his last 5, only loss to Ilia Topuria. So it's not really something to shake your head at whatsoever. I mean, Ilia Topuria going to be fighting for a title. Look, I mean, he's still undefeated. Looks like an absolute killer. Josh Emmett, 3-2 in his last 5. Just coming off the loss to Ilia Topuria, where he got battered. And then the loss earlier this year where he took to Yair Rodriguez, got submitted. 38 years of age for Josh Emmett. Definitely getting up there. Definitely taking a lot of damage in his last 3 fights, really. I mean, Ilya, Yair, and then Calvin Kattar, which was, 5-round knock him out type of fight. So he's got a lot of miles on that chin. Bryce Mitchell, not really a heavy-handed guy, but he does have the ability to put some damage on you. What are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, I look at both sides here. And for Josh Emmett, obviously, like you said, taking a lot of damage in his last few fights and being 38 years old to where, maybe the chin's not holding up as well. He doesn't take the damage as well and gets a little more tired in there when he is taking damage. And versus a guy who's basically coming off the couch on a couple of weeks' notice, who has phenomenal cardio when he's training for fights, which I expect him to his cardio to be fine probably in this one, but who doesn't really showcase the striking much at all. He more so uses certain shots to set up the takedowns. He's going to look to backpack you. He's going to look to find some submissions, land some ground and pound, and just be a dog in there and grind out decision wins or submission wins, or, even get the KO, TKO once he gets you down. But for Josh Emmett, like, he has a good wrestling background, but he's a guy. I'm trying to think of who he'd remind me of that, is a great wrestler, but just won't really show it in there. I want to say Gaethje, but a little bit different. But he has the ability to wrestle with guys, but he just won't go to it when he needs to. I mean, we saw it against Yair a little bit. It seemed like more desperation trying to get fights to the ground. He ends up getting submitted while Yair was off of his back. Topuria was able to take Josh Emmett down 3 times officially in that fight and just basically broke Josh Emmett down the whole entire fight. Now, if those guys are taking him down, I don't see why Bryce Mitchell doesn't either. He's the youthful guy in this fight by a long shot. He's very strong. He's got an insane grip. You can just tell it. If he gets his hands locked, you're going down. He showed it in the Dan Ige fight, taking him down 5 times. Now, if you look back to Dan Ige versus Josh Emmett, Ige was the one who was able to take Emmett down in that one. So just mixing all this stuff together, watching tape, makes me believe Bryce will get to the body. He will get the fight to the ground. And from there, I think Emmett could be in some serious trouble because once Bryce gets guys down, you're not really getting back up that many times. And mix that in with Emmett's age, it could be the X factor in this fight. But Josh does hold some power. And if Bryce can't get the fight to the ground right away, he's going to be in serious danger of getting hit with some big shots. We saw Dan Ige hit him with some big shots and really messed that eye up that I thought put the fight in danger of being stopped. Like if you looked at his eye after that big shot he took. So there's always a possibility Emmett comes out and starts swinging like that, hit him with some big power shots, and then it gets very, very interesting. But off short notice, I don't think Bryce messes around with it at all. I won't be surprised if the first 2 seconds of the fight, Bryce is shooting a double leg from the center of the octagon trying to get him down. And if he does that early and sets the tone that way, I think it's going to be a big mountain for Josh Emmett to overcome. And I think Bryce Mitchell will get his hand raised. So the pick for me is going to be Mitchell.
Yeah, it's kind of like a similar opponent for Bryce Mitchell based on his last 2 fights. Like right. Dan Ige, Josh Emmett, kind of a similar type of fighter, rely on their boxing. And then Ilia Topuria, kind of the same type of build as a Josh Emmett, but Topuria I think has a much better ground game defensively and offensively. And for Bryce Mitchell's only loss being Ilia Topuria, it's not really something that I would look at too deeply. But I think Bryce here just wrestles him for 3 rounds. If he doesn't, I think he probably submits him on the ground if he gets him there. But Josh Emmett, 46% takedown defense. It's he's not that hard to take down. And he's a guy that most fighters will look to just kind of stay out of that big overhand right and strike with him. It's not like guys are going in there and taking down a lot. Like a lot of the guys that he's fought are strikers, and they're not really grapplers. So it's an interesting test for Josh Emmett at this point in his career, 38 years of age. I mean, we usually don't like to take guys that are probably near the end of their career, and I don't think I'll take him here. Bryce Mitchell will be the pick for me. Like you said, I think he probably just goes out there and shoots early, gets ahead early, kind of like he did against Edson Barbosa. It's like he hit him with one shot early, and then from there it was like, just get him down, wear on him, don't let him back up. He's got a great ground game, like super high level ground game. He gets you down. It's going to be tough to get up, and if you get up, like, he's probably just going to go ahead and take you down right away. So I think it's a tough test for Josh Emmett, but Bryce Mitchell is on short notice. Got to take that into account, but I think he took it because it's a fight that he thinks he can win, and I think he does win it here. So Bryce Mitchell will be the pick for me.